Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Terry.
And we're Escaping the Empty Nest. This video is meant to help the first-time visitor to Oahu. If you've been there and disagree with any of our suggestions, just leave a comment down below and let us know.
In our research on food and restaurants in Hawaii, the one thing we found out is that it is very expensive. So in our planning, we did look and found that there are not only grocery stores in the area, but there's also 2 Sam's Clubs and a Costco on the island of Oahu. We went there on our very first day after we rented our car and looked for things that we could take back to our room. It was nice that if you've seen our video already on our hotel, that we had a refrigerator in there, so we were able to get milk and breakfast items and things like that. And that's what we tended to do in the morning, our first meal of the day.
One of the things we found out very quickly was at the popular restaurants, the lines are very long. Part of that was due to COVID restrictions, and part of it is just because they were popular. What we did was a restaurant near our hotel named Marakume Udon. We called ahead. No, actually, we used the app, didn't we?
We used the app.
Their website. We went to their website and we ordered online. And we went there, and the first thing we saw was this huge line going around the building, but there wasn't a sign that was very clear on where to pick up our food. So I waited in line, and she tried to find out, and I had moved basically one person up in line in 10 minutes. The 10 minutes she was gone, and then she showed up with our food. You'll see the pictures. The lines were really long, but we got our food in, I'm not even going to say a quarter of the time, a fraction of the time it would have cost to actually wait for our food. And it was a really great experience. So we just took it back to our hotel, which is around the block, and we ate it there. And it was a great experience not having to wait in that line just to get a simple meal.
So before you select your hotel, do some research about the restaurants that are around in the area that you're in. We found that there were several that we could go to that were either right close to us within a block or within a 3-block walking distance from where we were staying, which was great. We tried a place called Kono, and we tried some Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue.
And what was the other place?
Musubi Cafe.
Musubi Cafe.
Which was rice and spam and other Oriental things. I don't even remember the name of the wrapped rice, basically. And it was good. It was right next to our hotel.
Yes.
And the Marakume Udon that we went to as well. All those were just within a few blocks, and it was nice. One thing you have to remember is when you're selecting your hotel, try to see if you can find several restaurants in the area that are close enough that you can walk to and pick up your food and bring it back to the hotel. Or at least you don't have to drive there and pay to park or try to circle the block 18 times trying to find a parking space. There's not much parking in Waikiki, so you just have to be careful.
Our son had his heart set on eating at one particular place, Yakinuzo Sizzle, which was one of these hibachi type places. And not knowing the area it was in, not knowing what kind of restaurant it was in, we assumed we could just go there and get a table. The first day that we went, we walked in and found out that we needed a reservation. So one thing you may possibly want to do is if you settled on restaurants that you would like to go for a sit-down meal, make sure to call ahead to make sure, A, that there's not a small area for the restaurant with very few tables, or to make sure you don't need a reservation in advance.
Yeah, there's only 4 tables at this place in the entire restaurant, so that's why they required reservations. What was nice is they had street parking, and we called ahead to find out where do we park, and they said park on the street, so that was nice.
That was nice.
Yeah. One thing you always hear about Hawaii is how big a role Spam is as far as the cuisine goes. And as mainlanders, we're like, Spam? We never eat Spam. But it's really true. Spam is huge over there. They consider it a delicacy, and they dress it up in all kinds of different ways. You see it from fancy restaurants all the way down to McDonald's. There's a historic reason for that that's actually very interesting. We're going to link to a video down in the description from a channel called Shano that's very good. We suggest you check it out, and it talks about all the historic reasons why Spam is so big on the island, and he even has some serving suggestions on how to make Hawaiian Spam yourself. So check it out, it's pretty cool.
One thing that we found while walking one day was an outdoor mall that was very close to where we were staying in our hotel. And we wanted to definitely try a restaurant that we saw that was inside there. And let me tell you this, during COVID especially, but at any time, don't assume that Google is always right when it says a restaurant is open. We went for a walk. We walked all the way through the mall. We found the place where the restaurant was, and
it was closed. It was closed. Not closed for the day, closed for good. So COVID has really done a number on the islands as far as restaurants go. And you don't, if you have your heart set on someplace, it just may not be there anymore. And don't count on Google giving you the right information.
And that may be another case where you may want to look up the number for the restaurant and call to be sure.
Very true. Don't be afraid of trying things you've never tried before. There's a food truck on the North Shore called Giovannis. It's very famous. We heard about it from so many sources, and it took a long time to get there from Waikiki, but we wanted to try the famous Giovannis. We went all the way there, and by the way, the parking lot was really crowded. I had to let her and the kids out of the car, and then I circled the parking lot until another space came available. So it took probably 45 minutes just to get food from a food truck, and it was interesting. We weren't used to shrimp that was still, that still needed to be peeled. And I actually ended up having a hot dog, and the hot dog was delicious. It's probably the best garlic. It was the only garlic hot dog I've ever had. So you think, what in the world is a garlic hot dog? But it was delicious. The rest of the family didn't enjoy the shrimp that much, but doesn't mean we regret going there, because it's just an experience. We tried it, and we could say, we tried it. Exactly.
Now, one thing we were prepared for is in our research, we found out there were a lot of Asian restaurants, Japanese, Korean, you name it. And we weren't expecting to go through an Asian food burnout. It was delicious most of the time, don't get me wrong, but there were times that we were like ready to look for a cheeseburger or a chicken sandwich, or even we found a place that served crepes.
Yes.
And we went and had crepes for breakfast one day.
That was wonderful. Le Crepe Cafe. It was
Le Crepe Cafe.
Really good.
And then just a few blocks down Waikiki Beach from us was the restaurant that we went to called Teddy's.
Teddy's Bigger Burger.
Bigger Burger, yes.
Great burgers.
It was really good. That was good. Unfortunately, I had a salad and not a burger, but hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So, I don't know. It seemed like 3/4 of the restaurants on Hawaii were Asian Oriental. That might be an exaggeration, or it could have just been the neighborhood we were staying in, but definitely, unless you absolutely love Asian food and there's no way you're going to get burned on it, make sure that there's other places within walking distance of the hotel that you can eat at and without getting burned out. Like any good video about food, we should always end with dessert. So we've tried a couple really unique desserts to the island we wanted to share our experience with. One of the desserts we tried was Ube Cheesecake. Pretty amazing. Ube is a yam from the Philippines, and it's purple. And when you use it to make cheesecake, the cheesecake turns out very purple. Oh, but they are so good. It's like cheesecake, just with a slightly different flavor, and we were really impressed by it. Oh, I just remembered the crinkle cookies.
Oh, I forgot about the same place.
Ube crinkle cookies, absolutely amazing. So if you go there, don't just get the cheesecake, get the crinkle cookies, because they were incredible. What about malasadas?
Oh my gosh. One of the things that we did research on that we had to find was Leonards Bakery. And luckily for us, we passed Leonards Bakery many times on our drives. It wasn't that far, but we still needed to drive to get there. The parking lot was small. We were very lucky. Normally, Leonards has a very long line around the building to place an order and to get your order, but we got very lucky. The line wasn't very long. We didn't take very long to get ours. We took them back, and we'll probably show you some video here.
Portuguese donuts filled with chocolate, filled with caramel. Ooh. And they are delicious. We're eating out on the balcony because they're covered in sugar and they are such a mess. So Terry, bite into the chocolate one. Let's see what you think.
Good.
That's so good. Let me see. Oh, they're amazing. Wow.
Yum.
This is a regular one. It's delicious too. So good. So good. Ah. By the way, we bought a dozen of the filled ones. They gave this one to us for free. One thing you always hear about on Hawaii is shave ice. Not shaved ice, shave ice. And basically it's a snow cone. You don't hear many people admit that, but it's basically a snow cone. We got shave ice at the mall we talked about earlier, and it was a little gritty, it was a little chunky, it was very much reminded you of a good old mainland snow cone, and it was just okay. The flavors were good. But then we got one out on the leeward side.
Yes.
And it was like you expected from the description, like shave ice would be. It was so fluffy, it was like snow. It wasn't like crushed ice. It was so thin and light. And we've had snow cones a few times here in the States that are like that, but it's still pretty rare. So it's definitely an island experience. They're not very expensive, but they're very large. So when you go, you got to get shave ice, but hopefully the kinds you get will be the kind that are very fine, like a snow texture. We already mentioned Shano's channel, and I highly recommend you check out his channel. He has very entertaining but informational videos on the Hawaiian Islands. Another channel we really enjoy watching is Yellow Productions. Chris has great videos on Waikiki and Oahu. In fact, one of his videos is the 10 cheap eats of Waikiki, and that was a big resource to us in finding places that were affordable for a family of 4 to eat at. Another channel would be...
Yes, the Hawaiian Vacation Guide. Erica and Jordan were also a big help on us. They have a lot of videos, not just on Oahu and Waikiki, even though they have quite a few on that, but any traveling that you're going to be doing to most of the islands on the Hawaiian island chain, they have videos on that too that would help you out with your planning.
Can't let you get away without mentioning our friends Mark and Jocelyn at Wolters World. If you're like us and just starting world traveling and you need great information to help you learn how to travel, they're the channel to check out. Amazing resource for really about anywhere in the entire world. So please check out Wolters World.
So if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you check out the other videos that we've already made on this channel about cheap hotel and cheap car rentals on Waikiki. Also, we will have a few more videos in the next coming weeks that will also document our first time experience in Hawaii.
Thanks for watching, and bye for now.